It's 6:35 and I'm going to call the regular meeting of Comfort Lake Forest Lake Watershed District to order. Roll call, please.
Manager Lowe,
I am here.
Manager Schmaltz,
Here.
Manager Baki,
I am here.
Manager Taves.
I-
Was that a here?
Yeah, I
Okay,
heard it.
Manager, President Anderson.
Here. All right,
No, I don't
everybody's.
think it was Manager Taves. Manager Baki's having a bit of a lag on his and it sounded during Taves, but I'm not seeing him on the call.
You don't see Manager Taves? I thought I heard him. Maybe that was Baki. A delay. Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, we got that straightened out. All right, next item is setting of the meeting agenda. Are there any changes?
I am in with,
Addition?
and it might be a bit of a problem.
I can't make out what you just said. It's very garbled. Is that Manager Baki?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything that we can do? Maybe if you have a question, Manager Baki, or comment, could you put it in the chat? Okay.
Becky, we monitor the chat.
Well, if it's something that you wanted to add or change on the agenda, we'll get to it, once we can hear you, but, as there are no other changes, is there a motion to accept the agenda?
I'll make the motion to accept.
Is that Manager Loth? Okay, go ahead, Manager Loth.
I'll make the motion to accept the agenda.
Thank you,
And I'll second.
thank you.
All right, Manager Lowe,
Aye.
Manager Schmaltz,
Aye.
Manager Baki. President Anderson.
Aye. The next item is the consent agenda. We have three minutes, three meeting minutes to approve. Are there any objections or corrections to the minutes? If not, a motion to approve the consent agenda is in order. I'll make the motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you.
All right, Manager Lowe,
Aye.
Manager Schmaltz,
Aye.
Manager Baki,
Aye,
President Anderson.
Aye. All right, next item is public forum. Do we have any members of the public?
They have to come in person.
And you have to be in person if you want to talk. Otherwise, yeah, all right. Well, let's skip over that. No one's present. Next is the advisory committee update.
Yes.
Is Aiden present?
Yes,
Great.
good afternoon, Madam Chair, managers. Provided today was the meeting notes from our Tuesday, June 16th meeting. A couple highlights of that meeting were a discussion of a pontoon shoreline tour. We'll have one on Forest and Bone Lake later this summer. And then we received a really nice presentation from Emily on the budget. Manager Anderson provided some context for the budget discussion, and that made up the most of our meeting. And with that, the committee members were asked to provide any comments or discussion they have on the budget that will be relayed to the board as they begin their work on this, or continue their work on this, I should say.
I can get by without.
Thank you. Any questions? Mr. Reed?
Thanks.
No? All right, thank you, Aiden. Next item, under new business, there is no new business to discuss tonight. Next is old business. And the only item is the standard project signage.
President Anderson, would you like me to give an intro since Mr. Kinney has not arrived yet?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Kenny is not going to be joining us tonight because there was a power outage at his home. And so he and I were meeting late in the afternoon, and so he went home to take care of the power at his house. We have a short agenda, so if he has, questions, if we have questions for him, we'll have to get addressed later. Yes.
Yeah, I was trying to get online here and I didn't do it. Do we have any kind of a report on what happened on the North Shore Trail as part of new business or not?
Well,
Could we add that to that if?
we could. Is Victoria still, is she still here?
She left.
Oh, okay. Victoria's the one that went out and
She's
saw.
not here. Okay.
She's not here. That's why I was a little delayed, because
Okay.
I wanted to drive by and see.
I'm gonna go out tomorrow morning. So
Yeah, well,
What did you see?
nothing, honestly. I mean, I saw a lot of mud on the road, obviously, and near the grass line.
Okay,
But it wasn't anywhere near the water. When Mike got the message late this afternoon, it sounded like there was sloughing going down to the lake. But I didn't see that.
it's quite a far away from the lake. It's, you know, it
Yeah.
goes all the way around.
Yeah, it started out on, almost to, oh, what is that? I can't remember the street, but anyway, almost to where you turn to go to Bone Lake. So it was not close at all to the water.
Okay,
It was still up in that
all
backwards
right, well,
high
then we don't have
area.
to worry about it. A little more.
Yeah, I was expecting a real tragedy, but it wasn't.
Okay,
All right, the standard project signage is what we're discussing right now. And if we could put a picture of the sign up. Thank you.
Yeah, is that big enough on the screen there?
Yep,
Can introduce this. President Anderson, managers, this item, we've got the last few meetings, provided some opportunities for managers to provide feedback. Got a few comments from Manager Schmaltz, which Adam incorporated into the design. This afternoon, we received a few more comments from Holtman, which seem reasonable, and perhaps he would like to go over if we'd like to incorporate that. But the purpose of this point and in this point in the process is to just approve the general template, just giving that direction to Adam about, yes, this template looks good, so that he can proceed with the next steps of, seeking out the cost estimates and working on getting the actual signs designed for the Moody Lake Capstone project and the WJD6 project, because if we want to fund those with the grant funds we have, we need to get it done by year end. So just looking for some agreement on the general template right now.
I only have one change to make, and it will, take out one word is all of it. This project was possible with, take out from the, and just add with financial support from, and then we've got the 3 logos underneath. That's it.
yeah, the only comment I want to make is that we've actually set this up as 3 elements to the sign. The top element is intended to be the purpose of the project.
Mhm.
The middle element is what the project is, and then a recognition of our sponsorship of it with a logo. And then the bottom point is recognizing any partners that we have with it. So if we stick to those 3 elements, I think we'll have a consistency program. And the only thing is whether we have we have a lot of water quality improvement projects, but as we get into other projects, we'll have to make sure that we have an appropriate type of title up top to describe the project. So
Yes,
otherwise it should work pretty well, I think.
yeah, I think it's very clear. You talked about it at the last meeting. I just think we can clean up that little.
The grammatical part of it.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
it. This project was no, did I say that? This project made possible with support, financial support from, yeah, that's how it was. Or no, I took out was, that's what it was. This project possible
No, you said
with, with financial support from.
President Anderson,
Yeah.
one of Chuck's comments that he shared was perhaps simplifying further to made possible by funding from :
Mhm. Yeah, funding is probably better.
Yeah. I agree.
Honestly, I think it's more acceptable to the broader public. Yeah, I agree with that.
about made possible with funding from?
Well, I don't know that that's necessary, honestly. This project possible with funding from, and we cut out like 3 words. And that's easy to read as you're driving by, so the fewer the words, the better the reception from the drivers. So can you read it with just those 3 words taken out and left with no adjectives? This project possible with, what did you say, funding? From, and then the names.
The only question I have with that is that, didn't the watershed district fund it also?
Yeah,
So maybe it sounds like we're left out, so maybe we should say, is this project was possible through additional funding?
no, it's too busy.
Okay.
We don't have to get down to those weeds, you know, we can have it on our website and everything else.
Okay,
I think there's just an assumption that we're the lead. So, can you read the shortened version one more time?
Made possible by funding from.
I thought we took out with. This project,
I could put it on the
Oh,
screen.
with funding.
It could be made possible by funding from, or made possible with funding from.
whatever Chuck suggests. I
With.
think.
This project possible with funding from. It's a sign, it's an advertisement, so we don't have to be grammatically correct, but I think if we see it in. If we have you read it one more time, and, you know, with just a few words.
Yeah.
So it's not broken up. Read it again.
She put it
So
on.
Chuck suggested made possible by funding from. And then I think Chris Loth and Manager Anderson suggested made possible with funding from.
Mhm. Yeah. I think that looks good.
I like the second one.
Yeah, I do too. Looks good.
Okay.
Should we have a motion to accept, I'll just make it, I'll move to approve. The enclosed standard project signage format as modified. And direct staff to proceed with signage for the district's remaining projects.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Manager Lowe,
Aye.
Manager Schmaltz,
Aye.
Manager Baki,
Aye.
President Anderson.
Aye. All right, report of staff. Mike isn't here.
He just joined the call.
Oh, he did. Okay, good. Welcome, Mike. So we're at the administrator report. Do you want to say a few words?
Like you should be able to unmute now.
Could he hear me
Okay,
before?
there I am. Thank you. Yep. Yep. Saw me as one of those external villains apparently, so so I don't know if there's yeah, I just got back from the Roseau Watershed District tour. It was quite interesting to see some of that area firsthand, to see some of the things that they're dealing with. But in terms of other things, I guess I'll just, if there's any questions on what was in my report, I could take that right now, so.
Okay, hearing none. We'll move on. Next is EOR.
Evening, Madam President, managers. Ann is on vacation, so I'm filling in today. all our projects are moving along as planned, maybe a couple notable things. Obviously, we've been getting some rain here over the last few weeks, so we've been out doing our monitoring on the streams. We've had a bit of activity with some possible larger developments in the southern part of Forest Lake, still kind of in the planning phase, not a permit application yet, but have been having some meetings related to those. So I suspect those may be coming in the next few months. And we continue to plug away at the design on the Heath Avenue iron enhanced sand filter. I think that's about all I got for tonight, unless there's any specific questions.
I have a question, and I'm not gonna ask for follow-up here tonight at this meeting, but I'd like to call you or Ann or somebody and get a little bit more information about the memo that we had in our budget package about the sediment loading into Comfort Lake. So I would like to follow up on that. With the
Okay,
board's
yeah,
okay.
I'd
Thank
say
you.
reach out to Ann. I think she'll be back next week, so I think
Okay.
she'd be the best one to answer that.
Okay, very good. Thank you. That's it for me. Anybody else? Okay, Smith Partners?
Nothing to report, Madam Chair.
Aha, thank you. Reported treasurer.
Just checking to make sure these numbers are the same ones I have here, just a second. They're a little bit different, so I'll go with those numbers. Okay, so this month we had income of $151,796,000. A good portion of that was our loan D disbursement, which came in very timely. And we have direct expenses of $274,253 and a bank transfer of $278,200. So I would like to ask the board to approve the treasurer's report and also to approve payment of the bills. And then I'd like to make a couple comments about our cash flow after we vote on this
And do the transfer.
and do the transfer,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll move that we approve the request to pay the expenses of $274,253.28, and at the same time approve the bank transfer of $278,200.
I'll second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Manager Lowe,
Aye.
Manager Schmaltz,
Aye.
Manager Baki,
Aye.
President Anderson.
Aye.
Okay, I don't know whether, do we have page 2 of this, Tori? Can you put that up?
Of the treasurer's report,
Yeah,
give me a second. Page 2, you said?
yes, from Bonnie's report.
Give me a second to share it with everyone else. This one?
It should be a box
Box.
at the bottom. It's right behind the all the expenses that we had. Go keep going up before that.
Oh, that's. We have the first.
No, go scroll down, so keep one more.
Here, I think I can pull it up.
There it is. Is that it? Yeah.
This one, oh,
Oh, sorry. I just pulled it. Is this the one though?
No, I need that Bonnie's report. That's her report, but that's the whole expense voucher site thing, so.
I think you just, the color wasn't showing up super clear on this screen.
Okay,
but,
try it again then, so we can take a look at it and see.
Are you looking for the, oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead, Tori.
This right here.
Yep. That's the fund balance total.
Yeah, this one right here.
Oh, that's down lower, okay.
It's right behind the expense,
Yeah, here we go.
All the checks was, that's it, okay, that's good.
Okay,
So this little box shows what our cash position is, just for the board's information, so we've been discussing this at the budgeting issues. So I just wanna reinforce what Manager Anderson's been talking about. These are all the cash accounts we have in the bank, and as you notice, it totals up to $1,989,000 at the bottom right-hand corner. So then if you go to the next page, page 3. Sounds like a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but a lot of that's tied up with accounts that we've got. So scroll to the next page, I think,
This is,
or maybe it's backwards and.
this one? What's the page number at the bottom?
I don't have a page number on this one.
if you go to that first page, though, it shows the three funds. Starting with the, right above it, general fund right there,
Yeah,
that's our spendable money.
Right.
Debt services is for the payback of the loans,
right.
and then the project and program is the working
Scroll up a little bit more.
fund.
So that shows 411,000. Actually, when you look at other things that we've got tied up, it gives us about $297,000 of spendable cash
Mhm,
going into this coming months,
mhm.
which is getting kind of tight. So I just want to ask Emily and Tori both to, do we have any actually big grants coming in this coming months?
We have the levy.
Well, the levy will be in
The
for
levy's,
sure.
the levy's always at the first part of.
Okay, so we're okay there.
Before the 4th of July. I think only once it came after the 4th.
Okay,
So other than that, it should be depositing on the 1st or 2nd.
okay, so we should be fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but it was pretty tight, so this is one of the things we're trying to deal with as we
Right,
move forward.
exactly.
So. But there is some of that money we could spend and use because it's not all needed right away, so that's the other point we have to make too. And I know there's some discussion, we've been doing this in the past. We wanna try to get away from that, but
Yeah,
that's another option we could use too in the short term.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be looking at coming up with some solutions to pay down the debt and to build up a better reserve so we don't have such a tight cash flow as we go forward here.
yeah.
And we'll have options for the board to look at. I'll be working with Emily, and I think Manager Anderson is gonna work on her own program, maybe with Redpath, or maybe Redpath will be a third option. So we should have 2 or 3 options to look at when we come back at that meeting on the 14th for the board. And it'll be so much simplified from looking at all the numbers we had. We're gonna condense it all down. There's only 3 variables. You can play with the levy. You play with maybe taking additional loan, or you can play with cutting costs, right? So those are the 3 things that we have to work with. So-
Well, and there will be the report from the Redpath CPAs,
Right,
who have been doing this for decades, and
and that'll be another perspective.
and that, yes, and that will be due that's due at the end of July. Okay,
Okay, just wanted to share that with everybody. I think we'll work our way out of this, but took us a few years to get to where we are now, so it's gonna take a couple of years, 3 years to get back to where we wanna be, so. All right, any other questions on the treasurer's report?
I think just to make sure everybody understands, the levy money that comes in is half of the levy. That, the annual levy, so it'll be around 700-800,000. That we'll be depositing here in
Right.
just a week and a half or 10 days, the most.
Emily, do we have any more loan disbursements due the rest of the year, or are we finished?
We're finished with the current loan.
Okay, so we're not gonna have that, how much did we have the first 6 months?
For the first 6 months, almost all of it. It was maybe 400,000.
So we're not gonna have that the second 6 months.
No, but we have another levy payment in the
If we get- yeah.
mid-December,
Right,
another
but-
800,000.
But with that 400,000, we only had 297,000 short, I mean, it's just cash available. If we don't have a 400,000, it's gonna, might even be tighter next 6 months, so we'll have to look at
It's
that.
going to be tight until we
Right,
resolve that during the budget process, so.
Okay.
And that's what we're working on. Okay,
thanks, Emily.
next item is report of managers. I'll start with Manager Loth,
I have nothing to report.
thank you, Manager Baki,
Nothing to report, thank you.
Thank you. Manager Smalls.
Nothing new to report right now.
Okay, I have nothing new either. So let's move on to summary and approval of board direction.
Nothing here, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And we have no other items before us. So,
Mike Kinney raised his hand.
okay, Mr. Kenny,
I just checked with staff that you did talk about the North Shore Trail project, but I think it's worthy to note, to clarify, and I just sent some photos to Tori.
hold
That
on.
That the sediment is actually going into our Third Lake Pond project.
Oh, it's way over there.
Yeah,
I thought it was
Yeah.
over by,
yeah, so did I. That's what I thought it was too, but I drove over farther and then she.
Well, you've got that
separated.
whole ravine that's got trees on it, so there's not much protection to hold the dirt place probably. That's the problem.
Well, there was
That's-
nothing on each side, nothing on either side of the road, so it was all, all that blacktop was, there's a lot of loose material, and you could see there, 'cause that's
wow.
on the south side, then it's coming in. That's just one location, but it just comes off the sides of the road in the heavy rain. But you could see the water coming in, it's clear, and then from the ditch there, staff had, Victoria and Jackie, they had gotten a biolog and were placing that to try to contain some of it, but that whole section is unprotected. That's the area where they didn't want to put biologs.
Now, how close is that to the lake and where is it exactly on North Shore Trail?
It's on the far east side, but that's the area that drains directly into our Third Lake Pond project that we did just a few years ago.
Oh, yes. What's that little trail? Yeah.
Log Lane. But
So
it's actually,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So this comes out by that house that's kind of sideways on the northeast or southeast side. And then it goes under
Mhm.
underground until it gets over to that little stream in front of the houses. Going to to that pond.
Yeah, well, this comes under the road. So this is on the east side of the road where they're putting that little check dam with the biolog. And then, and then it goes, yeah, there was, I'm trying to remember the woman's name there, but she, it goes under her driveway and then it goes through the next neighboring property that, where the first photo was located. And then
Right.
it goes, and then that goes from
Mhm.
there, that's heading west into our Third Lake Pond project.
Right, and there was a little bridge somewhere in there on that side, on
Next,
one of the houses, yeah.
correct, just the next one, that's Steve, I can't remember her name, Nelson or something.
Mhm.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is that primarily asphalt material then, Mike?
Nope,
Or-
that's just the, like, clay sediment that's being dislodged, and there was, it was a heavy rainfall. It was the exact scenario we described that could happen.
Exactly.
And so here we are. So,
So is there any way to estimate? To answer the question, so what? It doesn't look much to me. I mean, I'm just saying that as a member of the city
Mhm.
council. Doesn't look too
Well,
bad to me,
but the top photo going in, I mean, that should be clean water, not brown.
right? So, but can you estimate what kind of impact it might have had, or in terms of how much sediment might have gone in or anything, or?
Well, that,
What I'm thinking is it'd be nice to have a meeting with the city council just to say, as a learning experience for them, of why we have these rules and why we do this, and this isn't as bad as it could have been, it could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot less also, but it's gonna happen and we have to be prepared for it, so it's kind of a learning lesson for them also, I think.
well, but for the taxpayers, I mean, the reality is that Third Lake Pond, what we put in 300 and some thousand, 350,
Right.
now time value of money, that's a $450,000-$500,000 project. And just because you don't want to spend another $8,000 or $10,000 on erosion control, we're filling it in with sediment. So,
Yeah,
So this life of this might have been cut short 20 or 30% then, or something like that, because of the fill-in.
Well, it's probably not that much, but it's still, it'd be curious. I actually hadn't thought about it, but I probably should have went down to see if it was making it all the way through the pond and then going out into the lake or not. Or if it was, or if that,
Something to look at tomorrow. Something to look at tomorrow. All of that asphalt mess that was in the grass area of that person's property, that's not a good thing either.
right.
So it's not just the dirty water, it's all of that other material that with a flash rain, could easily go through that.
I do want to give,
The water.
I do want to give credit to Mark Stotts for making the effort to stop out. He was still at the office and he met me out there and we ended up talking to the one neighbor as well. That would like to see something done. So he got to hear it firsthand from that property owner. And he got to see all this firsthand too. So it won't be, it'll be more impactful, I guess, but I thanked him for his time for coming out. I did appreciate that. So
Did you go through the project history with him and the fact that we redid that whole area that was so bad that there had blue algae on the shoreline all the time?
I did mention that to him, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Did he apologize?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I'm
No.
asking Mike. Mike talked to him.
No,
didn't?
he did not. No.
All right, well, maybe it's coming. All right, very good. Thank you for the update. Anything else?
No, thank you. Sorry
Yeah.
for delaying the adjournment.
I didn't hear that. Oh,
It's
sure.
delaying.
Yeah, he was. Yes, you are. Okay,
Madam Chair?
nothing else from anyone. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Holtman,
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
just a question or a note, if this relates to the active work that's under permit, there's an obligation by the city as permittee to retrieve sediment that has moved off of the project site, both under district rules and under their MS4 obligations.
Yes. That's a good point to bring up. It's absolutely true. Okay, Mike. That's up to you then to direct staff or do whatever we need to do to make sure they understand that they violated this accommodated permit that we gave them.
Well, I think for the council members that came to the board meeting, pursuing a reduction in control. I mean, I hope they understand what they were now they can see what they were actually requesting.
Mhm. Chuck's talking about taking the action though,
Correct, I know.
action that we
Yeah.
need to take when a permit's been violated, so.
Well, a lot of the sediment may be in the trench yet that could go down and pick all that up and take it out. And then there's a lot of stuff in the bottom of the pond too. I don't know how much that is, but there's not much you can do about that. It's gonna be pretty hard or very expensive. But it might be good to let them know that it's their responsibility to take care of these types of things. And if it's visible in the trench, it's gonna get washed down with each rain. They should clean that up.
Well, that's the current concerns we were just talking.
Or put in a some kind of a dike that's gonna catch it so it can be removed. Or
Well, that's what
stabilized.
staff, that's what staff did. They put some biologs out, so,
Mhm.
I thank Victoria and Jackie for being proactive in that effort. They were
Yeah.
not able to reach the city or the contractor, so they just took initiative and
Mhm.
notified me that they were gonna go out and do that work, so.
I
kudos
thought I
to them.
did that already, but
But
if
that's
I
not, that's,
didn't.
that's upstream from the lake, isn't it, Mike?
It is, but it's correct, I mean, and there's sediment that's already reached that third lake pond for sure. So, but that'll just have to be assessed at a different time. But there is a little control. I'll bring it up with Dave Adams first, so.
Mhm. Yeah, I think we should leave this to Mike and staff to follow up. Thanks for that reminder, Chuck, on our permit follow through when they haven't been followed, protocol hasn't been followed. And it is a perfect example to educate the city and staff, the city staff, on what can happen when you try to cut corners. So let's hope there hasn't been any tremendous damage to that area, but we won't know until it's been assessed. Kind of like the strike in Iran, so we won't know how successful it's been until we send staff out to assess the damage. Thank you again, Jackie. Thank you for your part. Appreciate it. Anything else? Nope. All right, a motion to adjourn is in order. I will make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Thank you, Manager Loth.
Manager Lowe,
Aye.
Manager Schmaltz.
Aye.
Manager Baki,
Aye.
President Anderson.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.
Yep, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good July 4th. We'll see you later in July.
Good night.